most intense, thrilling, electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and Emiliano, a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show, No Filter. I'm your host, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and with me, as usual, is the co-host with the most, Jive Turkey Nano. How you doing today, brother?
Let's go. Doing great on this Wednesday, halfway through the week, hump day. Feeling good,
Hump
brother,
day.
coming off a big UFC 322. What it do, y'all? We see you in the chat. What up, WMC, LFG, indeed. My brother, great to see you, man. Can't wait to dive on in. I see the shirt, man. You're representing well. Let's go. Did you get sent for 3 years and forget? Come on, baby.
You know what we say, got to send him to Dagestan for a couple years, right?
Send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget.
And forget.
This is the way. Yeah, so what a fucking fight card, bro. UFC 322 delivered in big ways. And I say we start off right there. We start off at the top of the card and work our way down to the bottom. So with that being said, we find ourselves in the main event of the evening, talking about Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena, or as we like to call him around here, Jackie Three Names, coming in for the undisputed gold belt in the welterweight division. And man, speaking of undisputed, I think the performance that Islam Makhachev put on can only be described as undisputed. Like he put it on Jack, right? 140 to 30 landed strikes, 30 to 18 on significant strikes, and 4 for 4 on takedowns. Jack was not able to stuff a single one. The only thing I disagree with is I wonder if the statisticians that write up all these things for, UFCstats.com and Tapology and all these other sites, I don't understand how they didn't credit him for a submission attempt. I counted at least 5.
Yeah.
He hunted for the Kimura at least 2 times. The Darce he tried to sink in at least twice. And there was a rear naked choke attempt at least once. Like, I don't understand how you don't credit him for at least a submission attempt. But aside from that, a flawless victory. I thought he went out there and handled business.
Brutality.
Not a mark on him afterwards. I mean, he could have fought fucking Beneil the next night if he wanted to. What were your thoughts on this performance? Did anything shock you other than the grimacing on the face of Jackie Della Maddalena? And also, secondary question, where does your head lie when it comes to Jackie's grimacing? Do you think it was a popped rib due to the body triangle? Do you think it was due to the leg kicks that were landing? Do you think it was due to him feeling like he was in figurative quicksand, watching his dreams fade away into the hands of another man?
Yeah, man. I'll start with the second question. Appreciate the breakdown. Appreciate you dishing it on over to me, brother. Yeah, this was an absolute flawless victory for Islam. In regards to the grimace and even the coaches, telling JDM, hey, man, you got to go out there. You're not even marking the kid up. He's fresh as a daisy. Go out there and put a whooping. I did think my gut reaction, and it sounded like the commentary and maybe others as well all feel the same as me, and that he must have got hurt, right? And it's unfortunate that we didn't get to hear him on the microphone after. That would have been a great question for DC and crew, or Joe Rogan rather, to go in there and ask him to, hear a little bit more about how he felt his performance was, what went wrong, what was that what he expected? So, all he could do is tip the cap, and we're just going off assumptions, right? I don't think anything came out yet. It's not like they necessarily have to report injuries or things of that nature. obviously HIPAA laws certainly suggest that we can't get that insider scoop unless JDM flat out tells us. So I think I'm probably of popular belief that he must have got hurt in some way. Maybe it was the rib, like you said. Maybe it was a leg. Maybe he was just frustrated. Maybe it was all the above, right? I mean, the reality is it was a complete landslide victory. Islam is that guy. I think even just during the face-offs, you see JDM getting a little fiery, which maybe that was part of the tactics. Maybe some of the gamesmanship, try to get Islam out of character. Didn't work, especially when they had their shirts off and they're there in the octagon. It was clear as day. Islam, his neck, his shoulders, everything about him was thick and full on welterweight status. I was really surprised to see that. Apparently he's on creatine now. Makes me want to go buy a big old tub and start drinking more creatine, y'all. Because
brother,
if I gotta look,
I never have this creatine stuff, brother. This stuff is great.
I like this stuff.
This is the dream, brother.
Yeah, I love the weight camp. You know, I mean, everything about it, man. I mean, he's just, it was a complete landslide victory. And you know, I mean, with JDM, like he got some punches off, right? He was able to land 30 strikes over the course of 15 minutes, 18 of them being significant. But it really just felt like at no point was anything of substance. There were some shots in the clinch, you know, doing what he does, ripping the body, going upstairs, but he had nothing for Islam. I mean, Islam was handling that, took his leg out, chopping away at him, and just being an explosive athlete, well-timed shots. Obviously only needed 4 of the takedowns, didn't get any of them stuffed. Didn't even get one in the second round. You would think maybe that'd be JDM's chance to capitalize or go out there and change the narrative. But nah, man. I mean, like we kind of talked about and like Dustin insinuated, DP, time out, Dustin Poirier. When you're in there with someone like an Islam Makhachev, I mean, he makes you do things you normally wouldn't do, or you think you're safe and you know you're not, right? And that was just textbook. Just even the mere presence of his takedowns made JDM shell up, and maybe he was frustrated again with the grimace. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts if you think it was an injury or maybe just really showing some frustration. WMC wants to know as well, did JDM have a rib injury? My brother, I mean, how did you feel, man, watching that go down?
So he didn't have an injury coming into the fight. Make no mistake about it. He may do the typical fighter thing where he says he has had an injury coming into the fight, but I disagree. I do, however, think that he sustained a rib injury during the fight. I think it was round 2 when Islam got him in the body triangle. Look, I don't know if you remember, but there was a fight a while back, Dustin Poirier versus Anthony Showtime Pettis. He got Anthony Showtime Pettis in a body triangle. Anthony's trying to scramble out of it, turns his body, and then ultimately, I think, tapped out, and then the fight stopped, right? They asked him why he tapped out because he was not even being submitted. His rib popped due to the pressure of the body lock.
Oof.
Think of Dustin Poirier, okay? Think of his body triangle. Now think of Islam Makhachev. Who do you think has a more of a vice grip? You know,
I mean, yeah. You know,
now think of Islam on creatine for the first time. Like, again, I like to pull this story out, but we're talking about a guy who was able to snap my pinky in half through a kick shield 10 years ago. Like, Islam's a different kind of animal, bro. So I think he popped his rib, and if you have a rib injury, every time you're breathing,
rinsing, yeah,
you're doing that same kind of face, you know, that JDM was doing, and then God forbid you get put in a body triangle again in round 4 and 5, and then you're trying to scramble to get up, and you're visibly moaning and groaning in pain. So, I mean, from somebody who's had a popped rib as well, I feel like that's what it looked like. You shake up the magic 8-ball, all signs point to yes.
Yep, you're absolutely right, man. Yeah, no, I mean, we can't sit here and say that's the reason why he lost either. Like, yeah, it probably hindered his performance down the stretch, but he didn't have anything.
If he has perfect health and the rib never pops, he gets dominated. I mean, you're talking about 19 minutes and 10 seconds of control time in a 25-minute fight. And look, WMC, I love you, bro. He says he doesn't like how Islam fights, right? and that's okay if you're just judging it based on this last fight. However, come on, bro. Don't be like that. He's finished 3 out of his last 4 fights. And he has a 64% finish rate of all of his fights in professional MMA. So I don't know, man. I like the way Islam fights. I feel like he's typically aggressive. In this one, he just went out there and dominated a guy, but a guy that trained with arguably the best practitioner in BJJ in the world right now, in Craig Jones. And maybe all they worked on was how to not get submitted. But hey, it worked. He couldn't finish him on the top. And do I think he probably should have started just blasting elbows from the top, posting and throwing? Absolutely. I think there were openings for it. However, a good grappling coach will always tell you position over damage, position over submission. Islam was the perfect student on that night. It's like Khabib had the controller and was like making him do what he needed to do. If he gets up and he posts, right? If I'm on top of you and I'm weighing heavy with all of my weight, if I post to throw that elbow on you, or I post to hammer fist, as soon as I post, you now have space. If you have space, that's when you can start to butterfly. That's when you can start to roll and adjust and get hooks in and shrimp out. Like, that's just not what you want to do if you're trying to dominate a guy that people think is bigger than you and stronger than you possibly. And you want to make a point of proving to everybody that you are bigger than him and stronger than him. So I think Islam went out there and did the job.
Yeah, he did a phenomenal job. I mean, Islam is him. He ties Anderson Silva's record with 16 straight wins. Now the fun begins, right? Now the gauntlet is now entered the chat, and man, there's so many names in terms of what's next for Islam. If you're a JDM, he's still ranked number 1. I'm glad we kind of waited to see the new ranking. So he is still at the heap when it comes to contenders, and this is a long list, my brother, of absolute dogs. We had 2 other guys on this same card that earned that potential contender status. We got another guy coming up next week. We'll be talking about Mañana, also a winner that can easily get the nod as well. Shavkat, I mean, he's been hurt. Talking about Shavkat Rakhmonov, has not fought in 2025, but he's another guy we just are forgetting about. He is now just a distant memory when it comes to, again, a number 1 contender. So this division is just absolutely stacked. It's a murderer's row. And now you got potentially the baddest dude to ever lace him up as the current champion. You still got Ilya barking a little bit. You know, he's calling Islam boring. I mean, I think if we're trying to top, Conor McGregor's numbers, that is the obvious most fan-friendly fight. I think as a fan, personally, I mean, who wouldn't want to see that, right? I mean, I'd love to see it, but is he deserving? My answer is no. I'm assuming you're on the same page. And talking about Ilya here getting the nod over, again, all these other contenders that fought the same night. How are you seeing it, brother?
Yeah, I don't think he's deserving, but I think he'll get it because he has the following that he does.
Dana,
if he wants it, he'll get it. Dana, like, as my dad says, shit talks, money walks, right? And Dana's got a lot of money. Yeah. So,
and that fight has the most money.
I think that fight has the most money. It has the most eyes, the most speculation. It has the most everything, right? And it's a fight that makes dollars and cents, but there are other options, right? I think Michael Morales, coming off of a stunning victory, looking really solid, beating somebody that was number 3 or 4 whenever he fought him, puts him right in there. And then you've also got Ian Gary, who has a fight coming up, right? Against Belal Muhammad. If he gets past Belal Muhammad, you got to think he's primed for a title fight. And then that is Conor McGregor Wish.com versus Khabib Second Coming.
That is true. That is
Why
true.
the fuck not?
I mean, and he doesn't like how the rankings are shaping out. He doesn't like that Islam called out a Kamaru Usman, Mr. No Knees.
No knees.
It's fair that no need for that fight, if you will. Don't love that Belal and Ian are both, piling on there. But again, there's a lot of deserving individuals. I think, timing could be everything. If Ian Gary comes out unscathed in this next fight, I honestly do think he's probably the most deserving and also most notable name, right? I love Michael Morales, aka Spider-Man, making his appearance there with the black mask. Shout out Michael Morales. the cartoon character I'm talking about here, the Spider-Man. I mean, a win like that over a Sean Brady, who was the highest ranked contender, who does have a good grappling and wrestling game, who honestly would have matched up really well with Islam. I think if he won, he probably was going to get that nod. So personally, and maybe it's just the Ecuadorian in me, maybe it's the Mexicano in me, would love to see Michael Morales. I do think he's deserving. He went out there and knocked out. Like, what do we? I mean, spoiler alert.
He's undefeated. He's 25, 26 years old. Like, he's a young stud.
19-0.
Brother.
Huge. I think he weighed 198 or something.
The weight, like, when he bent over, he slouched over like fucking Lurch to fight Sean Brady, which great game plan because you already got a low sense of gravity. Makes it easy to sprawl if he's trying to get in on you.
Fair.
Dude, I mean, the guy is just money, bro.
Yeah.
And same with Prates, but we'll get into it.
We will. But yeah, man, I mean, Islam could do whatever he wants. He is not going to call for anyone. He's already said, well, whoever Dana throws my way. So it could be Ilya if we're trying to, appease the fanfare. But I do feel, frankly, that I think it should be Michael Morales. But we'll see. Hey, if Ian goes out there and knocks him out.
I think that's the biggest threat, too. I think the biggest threat in the division is probably Michael Morales. Or I'll give you the top 3 biggest threats in the division. I say Michael Morales, Carlos Prates, and Shavkat Rakhmonov. But Shavkat needs a fight before he does that, coming off that injury.
Hasn't fought all of 2025.
You don't want a bounce back fight to be against Islam Makhachev. He ain't the training wheels, brother.
No. Carlos Prates does have the most knockouts in the last 2 years. He has 6. So the next person has 4.
He also has 75 pro Muay Thai fights, which a lot of people don't realize.
He's such an animal. Guys,
he's a fucking monster.
This division all of a sudden is just my favorite right now, brother.
My dad became a massive fan of him that night.
Oh, dude, smoking the Shiga head. She's the teeth.
My dad was smoking a cigarette watching him fight.
Well, it makes sense. Man, what a way to set the tone, and people can hate. Chael Sonnen was hating a lot on Islam as well, mentioning the side guard specifically, which I'm like, that's a little nitpicky, my brother. Like, what are we doing? Like, if you're the champion of the world and any fighter, you should be able to get out of those positions. That's the name of the game. That's why we love the sport. You don't know jujitsu, you're gonna get heel hooked. Hey, find a way out of it. Like, there's all is fair in love and war. Like, I don't love the criticism, to be honest. But
yeah, and where was that criticism over Kamzat when he beat DDP? It was the same shit.
Exactly. And he had crickets. He was like, oh, well, that was different. I didn't like that, but this is different. Like, come on.
Crucifix, just like throwing tiny little, like, fucking jack off hammer fists against DDP, bro. Like, come on. It was the same performance.
Little baby Jack, yeah.
Like, both were dominant. And again, like, I was going for DDP. Did I love that performance? No, only because I was going for DDP. Was it a dominant performance? Yes. He fucking held the guy down for the entirety of the fight. He had no answer for it. I mean, if you don't like this, I know you don't like this, brother. Go watch kickboxing. Sorry. With that being said, speaking of a fight that we thought was going to be a kickboxing fight, we had Valentina Shevchenko against Zhang Weili, and holy fucking smokes, Valentina was just on her bullshit, man. She was back on her bullshit, as they say. Nano, 5 out of 6 takedowns, 137 to 80 on total strikes, 41 to 32 on significant strikes. I mean, if you watch this on screen, it looked almost as dominant as the fight we just got finished talking about. But, I mean, on paper, it looks semi-competitive. What were your thoughts? Did anything surprise you, or did it go pretty much exactly as we expected?
Oh, man. I mean, we could play back the clips, but I was definitely, unfortunately, leaning Weili. I was buying the hype. I thought that Weili would have some sort of answer in the wrestling game. I thought she'd be able to get off more of her offensive prowess, but nah, man. This was the most dominant, the most landslided win, and the numbers don't do its justice. Valentina just had her way with Weili, and I think because they stayed standing and they were exchanging strikes, still no answers. I mean, I don't think Weili, out of those 80 strikes she landed, I don't think a single one was truly significant. I don't think anything got Valentina off her game. and she still outstruck her opponent and took her down and just dominated her.
She landed like 2 check hooks that made like Valentina blink it out, you know what I mean? But the second she like blinked it out, she looked up and smiled, and I'm like, that's a scary bitch. Holy fuck, bro. Because you imagine just, you crack somebody, and they're like, they just smile and come back in. Dude, your heart starts skipping beats. You're like, well, I'm done.
Dude, yeah,
I just hit her with my best shot. She's laughing at me right now. And it's not a poker face. She means it.
That's the demoralizing one right there for sure. You're absolutely right. Hey, I'll give her that. 2 out of the 80. I mean, she didn't land more than 20 shots in a round. The 5th round, she did land 22, but other than that, sub 20 for Weili. I mean, the reality is it kind of reiterates why there are
levels,
weight divisions, levels for sure, and just the weight divisions are there for a reason. I mean, Weili just got absolutely woman handled, if you will. But that's the bullet, man. That's the bullet. That's what she does. She is an absolute stud. She is now, and probably forever will be the flyweight GOAT when it comes to the division. And looking at the landscape of where things are now, I mean, I guess you throw the next one at her, see what happens. I would be curious to see if she'd ever consider going up to bantamweight. I know. I mean, a lot of us love seeing the double champ status, things like that. I think Valentina, frankly, doesn't have that same appetite. She doesn't feel the need to prove anything. She's probably okay sitting and just stacking up title defenses, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. I mean, whether it's a Kayla Harrison, I know Amanda Nunes has entered the anti-doping pool again, so she's looking to make her way back in there. Still, I guess, both in similar age range, and that's what the one loss, I think, well, besides Alexa Grasso, that's the only other loss she has not avenged yet. That would be the narrative I would try to sell her on. If Amanda goes out there and beats Kayla, or maybe she needs to fight someone first, I would love to see that personally, but I do understand it's not realistic, yo. I know. You could delete the chat.
I think it's got to be Natalia Silva, bro.
I think so. Yeah, just throw the next one at her, see what happens. Natalia Silva,
and I mean,
definitely.
Natalia Silva's deserving as fuck, right? She's coming off a win over Grasso, who was the last person to beat Shevchenko.
Yeah,
like
sure,
I mean, the math is mathing.
Yep.
But exciting news. Not sure if you actually saw this, but PFL, I believe it was today, maybe yesterday. I know it was this week. They announced that they are completely doing away with the season format.
Oh.
Which is a fancy way of saying they're doing away with $1 million winning in each weight class.
In a roundabout way, yep.
And a fancy way of saying they've gotten enough pushback from their fighters being contract locked by competing and winning a season and being forced to come back and sign another contractual obligation if they win the season. A la Dakota Decheva.
Yep, I see where you're going.
That's what we need to see, Nano.
We need to see it. We need to see
Bro, dude, one of my favorite moments in talking to my dad about MMA was this man, he's like, dude, there's honestly one woman that can beat Shevchenko. And I'm like, who is he about to say? Am I gonna think it's like a casual take, or am I about to be fucking blown away? And he's like, God damn, I can't think of her name. She's got dirty blonde hair. She knocks every fucking woman she fights out, makes it look easy. Nasty Muay Thai striker. And I'm like, are you talking about Dakota Decheva? He's like, fucking Decheva. That's who I'm talking about. Bro, I was like, Dad, let's fucking go, dude. That's a fist bump moment right there. That's the fight that needs to happen, bro. We were saying it the entire time. We were like, dude, Zhang's just not big enough. Dakota would give her a fucking problem. A myriad of problems, my guy.
I agree. And there's not a lot of people that I would say you need to give the golden ticket to, but call me Willy Wonka because I'm giving her that golden ticket. I don't need to see a contender fight. I mean, the reality is Valentina's starting to clear out the division here, get some new blood. She is a champion in that respective organization. So that's enough for me. And I think those that know, that is an absolute banger. Couldn't agree more with you, brother. Can't see it soon enough. I hope she signs tomorrow, and I hope that we start hyping it up. I wish Dakota was a little bit more robust when it comes to calling shots, but she seems happy in where she's at. Unfortunately for us,
well, she got reprimanded.
Oh, did she?
She got reprimanded not this last time, but the first time she was on the Helwani show. Because she accidentally outed them for the contract shit. And she said she wants her dream is to make it to the UFC and fight Valentina.
No, that window may shut sooner than you think. She better start making some moves. Come on, girl.
And let me just tell you, bro, like 15-0 versus 26-4-1, 27 years old versus 37 years old, 5'8" for dangerous Dakota Dacheva versus 5'5" for Valentina Shevchenko, 70 inches of reach versus 66.5. 12 wins by knockout for Dakota versus the 8 for Valentina. 1 win by submission versus the 7 to Valentina. Like, outside of the submissions, she trumps her in every single tell of the tape stat. It's the most dangerous fight Valentina would ever have in the UFC. I just hope we get to see it before she retires, because I know she's not got that much longer left. You know, like the lower the weight class, I feel like the lower the age in which they retire, unless you're fucking Ione Barcelos or Tim Elliott, you know? It's true. It's a joke, but it's true.
I mean, what else does she have to prove, right? Her legacy is her legacy. She's going to go down as one of the GOATs. Like, and it's not like, new top contenders are out here growing on trees. Like, she's literally beaten most of the girls that are there, most of the women, excuse me. But Dakota, man, I mean, technically speaking, from a striking perspective, I do give her the nod at this stage of Valentina's career. Still 2 of the best to do it, but the knockout power, the technical prowess that Dakota has, like I would give her a nod there. We'll see how she can grapple. That will probably be what Valentina chooses. She typically goes with the path of least resistance, but yeah, if we're calling it what it is, she went out there, she dominated. Weili, go back down, do your thing, go fight Mackenzie, and keep on keeping on. Keep going, keep growing. That's all I can say.
Gosh darn. Go down and fight Dern. With that, we'll move on up to the welterweight division for a bout between Sean Brady and Michael Morales, the Spider-Man himself. Man, this was fun for as long as it lasted, which is exactly what I told my dad right before it started. I said this fight will be very exciting for as long as it lasts. Sean Brady comes in with a stacked, hunched over kind of stance. Great stance. Something that we used to see Chuck Liddell utilize against grapplers, right? You're leaning forward. Your hands are already ready to sprawl and brawl on them, right, if you need to. And I called the uppercut long before it came. I'll be completely honest with you. Because Sean Brady has a habit, and it's not a bad habit. It's a really good habit, right? It's a habit. So he has a habit of holding his guard exactly like this. And a typical boxer or boxing coach will teach you want to constantly have yourself touching your temple so that way your opponent can't really hit into it. However, that leaves you open for straights and uppercuts. And the way that he was hunched over, that uppercut was just right there from either side at a perfect trajectory, and he was lighting them up with it. He hit him with like 3 of those, and that's ultimately what started the combo that got the finish for him. Just absolute nasty work for Michael Morales. He cuts angles very well. He utilizes reach very well, and I genuinely think that he's a problem for probably 95, maybe 98% of the welterweight division. The only person I think that truly gives him problems in the top 5 is Islam Makhachev or maybe Carlos Prates. But again, stunning performance, stellar performance. I thought Sean might actually be able to edge it out with the grappling, but man, this Michael Morales kid put my foot in my mouth real fucking quick, didn't he?
Yeah, he put that foot in your mouth as quick as he put those fists onto Sean Brady's freaking chin, man. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, and we talked about it. I mean, the size is obvious. I mean, and it could not have been more obvious as they're squaring off and facing off against each other. I mean, this guy, Michael Morales, does not look like a freaking welterweight, my brother. He looks like a gosh darn light heavyweight. In fact, I'm pretty sure he weighed 196 or 198, damn near 200 pounds. I mean, the visuals were crazy. But hey, Sean Brady's someone that is used to fighting the bigger guys. He's typically on the shorter side, but boys, he's stocky, and boys, he's skilled when it comes to the grappling and just having a well-rounded game. He was number 2, number 3 coming into this fight, but that is no longer the case. The reality is, and we talked about it, he really had a tough time trying to get inside, trying to make it a fight in a phone booth, if you will. But compliments to Michael, right? I mean, he moves well, he's athletic, And he mentioned the uppercuts and things like that. I mean, that's slick boxing that, shout out to the Mexicanos. He's living in Tijuana. He's training. He asked Islam come out to Tijuana for 2-3 years and learn how to knock people out. Appreciate the gesture and the nod. I mean, we're talking. I mean, I appreciate the gamesmanship, all to say. But man, I mean, he is just a nightmare. And I'm not talking about Carlos Prates, though. I think they could potentially square off as well, especially if Islam does do what Dana wants and what a lot of people want, is to go fight Ilya potentially for that third belt. And
real quick, could you imagine if Islam actually hit some boxing camps in Tijuana with him? Michael Morales goes up to 185, then goes to Dagestan 2-3 years and forget.
I mean, we're talking
fucking problem,
we're talking
bro.
99 overall across the board on a.
It's a 5-star fighter on the UFC 6.
Oh my gosh! I mean, yeah, that would be unreal. I mean, that's, to be honest. I mean, I think everyone should do it. Let's be honest. Do a couple years in Tijuana, Mexico.
You should definitely cross-pollinate,
man. Go to Dagestan. Apparently,
I mean,
Georgia
you plateau
as well.
where you are, no matter where you are. You plateau at some point.
Go to Thailand as well. That does a lot of people well. Yeah, man. I mean, this guy is an absolute problem. I do think he's deserving of the title. I mean, he's 19-0. He is still young, so this is one of those situations where he could potentially lose, but I see him being right back up here, right? I mean, he's always 1 or 2 fights away. But hey, I want to see a challenge. Like, he went out there, he beat maybe the second best grappler in the division. Now let's see him do it against the champ. I mean, that makes the most sense to me on paper. The narrative. I mean, we saw the pop. Both these fighters, I mean, they both, Islam and Michael, got the biggest pops in New York, at Madison Square Garden. If those aren't all signs, I mean, I don't know what else you got to do to get a shot around here. What do you think, brother? Do you feel he is the most deserving? And then do you think he'll actually get the shot? Or is it a number 1 contender against Carlos Prates? Talk to me. Talk to the people, man. How you feeling?
I do think he's the most deserving right now, but I don't think he'll get the shot. I think Ian Gary is too good of a talker to get lapped if he's able to come out there and beat Beneil. I also think if Beneil wins, it'll be an interesting matchup considering they've trained together, and Islam will have no problem fighting him. So I don't think that either of them are going to be able to kind of leapfrog or get leapfrog rather by Michael Morales, but I do think he's deserving. As you said, he just beat the guy that was at number 2. He's now sitting at number 3. The rankings updated a lot today. Jack Della Maddalena sitting at number 1, Beneil number 2, Michael Morales number 3 up 5 spots, Shavkat down 1 spot to number 4, Prates up 4 spots at number 5, Ian Gary sits at the same spot at number 6, Brady down 5 at 7, Usman down 3 at 8, Edwards down 5 to 9, Buckley down 3 to 10, so on and so forth.
A lot of movement.
A lot of movement.
Except for Ian Machado Gary, which I can see why he's frustrated seeing the graphic of literally all these red arrows down and then, Ian, you stay there, but everyone else go down. I guess it's worse. It's not as bad as getting demoted, so he shouldn't complain too much there. But again, he gets a win over Beneil. I mean, you could assume maybe he takes that number 2 title, number 2 ranking potentially. So, and
then a lot of movement in the lightweight division as well, with Islam vacating his position there.
Very true.
Basically, everybody moved up, and then you have Ignacio Bahamondes breaking into the top 15, previously not being ranked.
There you go. Love to see that. And love to see my boy compa, Adrian.
Let's go! A-Town, baby!
Chee-wee-wees!
Chee-wee-wees!
We're keeping the train going. I'm getting another banquet. Let's go.
Let's go. Oh, man. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of matchups that make a lot of sense for Michael Morales, the Spider Boy. But with that being said, we move on into the welterweight division, or rather stay in the welterweight division. I mean, it was truly the standout division. This was a welterweight card, if you will, between Leon, Rocky Edwards, and Carlos the Nightmare Prates. I mean, come on, brother. This fucking guy, he came out here and just made it look incredibly easy against Leon Edwards. He was eating shots to the face and like laughing, looking at the camera as if he was Jim Halpert in the fucking office, bro. And Adrian is saying shot time, so I'm gonna go ahead and pour one up here.
Let's go. I'm looking around. I got the bottle, but I will do a proper chug of the banquet. It's banquet time for me, going Bob, but my co-host over here, he's got you covered. Let's go.
Always, always. Cheers, brother.
Oh, sweet shot.
Got the Japan.
Oh man. Everything about this was just bonkers, man. This fight was bonkers. I mean, everything that came from it too. The meme, right? Yeah, I was just say I can't even make that face. Like, really, bro? That shit was so funny. I mean, he just lit Mr. Potato Head.
Like he was on a smoke break sitting outside, bro.
It's unbothered, man, unfazed. But it does make sense hearing him talk after. He mentioned that he's been training with Kai Baralo a lot. And yeah, that is a different animal on your back as opposed to Leon Edwards. You get used to someone like that. Anything is a walk in the park when it comes to that position and just weathering the storm. But man, I mean, who doesn't love this guy, right? I mean, this is, the only thing that topped it was, again, Michael Morales going out there and do what he did. Because if Michael didn't fight tonight, I think it was going to be a clear path for Carlos Prates to get the shot. I mean, dude's a monster. We mentioned it a little bit earlier. He's got the experience, and it really felt like he was just waiting for his shot. He knows all it takes is one. There was some good exchanges between the two of them. I think Leon obviously wanted to wrestle. He did outstrike Carlos in that first round, landed 2 out of the 3 takedowns. But yeah, I mean, the reality is he didn't necessarily do enough with it. He didn't really cause enough damage from Carlos, didn't scare him off. But I think there's something to the idea that, like, you know, Carlos knew it was at stake. I mean, he asked Dana straight up via his meta glasses. We were able to see. He asked him, hey, I knock him out first round. I get title shot. Dana just brushed up. Sure. But that's all Carlos needed to hear, I think, to really understand what's at stake. What do I got to go out there and do? And he has special power, right? I mean, 6 KOs in the last 2 years, brother. Like, especially, I mean, well, and he did the Alex Bejeda. I was going to say that's probably the only other guy I could think of that just has nuclear power in one of his hands. Like,
I just looked it up, and apparently, according to himself in interviews, because you know how stadium fights go in Thailand, there's no real like record that's a professional record in a lot of these fights. He's had between 100 and 103 professional Muay Thai fights in stadiums between Brazil and Thailand.
Jeez.
The fucking monster, bro.
I mean, and it makes sense. Even when he lost, I mean, it was
Brazilian Sanchai.
He looked fantastic, you know, and still almost had Ian Carey on skates.
Crawling on all fours, bro.
Literally crawling for his life as he secured the victory over Carlos Prates. But I think the most impressive thing was he caught Leon right as he switched stances. I mean, on the end of his punch, he does have those long limbs, and I was shocked to see Leon go down like that. I mean, that was just...
I was shocked to see Leon go up like that. His feet came off the fucking ground.
He knocked him into the shadow realm for real, bro.
Brother.
I mean, what stood out to you, man? How did you feel? How, you know, what was the room reaction? You know, walk us through how you felt watching this one, brother.
I mean, I think all of us did our very best Joe Rogan impression and yelled, or John Anik impression and yelled, "Oh!" I mean, it's all over. It was bad, bro. Like, he was hurting for certain. All the John Anik quips came to mind.
Fatality
was the first thing that really crossed my mind. Dude got pelted, bro. Like, stepped through cross while he was changing his footing. Like, picked him up off his feet at least a half inch, maybe an inch and a half. And then when his ass hit the mat, the way his neck and his head snapped back,
freaking whiplash, bro.
My dad pointed out, on the, I believe the second camera angle that they showed the super slow-mo of him eating the shot. When he eats the shot here, you see the back of his neck has like massive reverberation that transfers through the shot. Like, that's when you know you just got fucking hit, brother. Like, it's not this pushing in. It's the back of your neck going, having a ripple effect through it of concussive force that is then transferred, or kinetic force that has been transferred through your body, limb to limb. It was nasty, bro. And that kinetic force followed him all the way to the fucking mat. He got another follow-up shot before the ref was able to jump in and save Leon Rocky Edwards' life. Leon might have to hang up the gloves after that one, man. It was a tough watch. But shout out to the kid. Carlos Prates bounces back in a very big way here, continues his rise to the top, and appears to possibly be the cream of the crop. I think if I'm Dana White, I'm putting on my marketing hat, or I'm Hunter Campbell, Sean Shelby, etc. Perfect scenario, right? Especially with like the WMCs of the world that are hating on Islam's fight style. Best case scenario, Michael Morales goes up, fights Islam, becomes the champ. Shavkat comes back after a layoff, fights somebody, gets a win, quick turnaround, fights Morales. Someone's O has to go. Like the promo writes itself. You have two undefeated fighters at that point going for the belt. It's what dreams are made of. One guy loses. Whoever wins then fights Prates. And by then Prates has already knocked some other poor soul out.
That's what he does.
God help him.
Yeah. Would not want to be his opponent. No,
like that's the best marketing standpoint I can build, because again, someone's O has to go is just an easy selling point for Shavkat versus Morales. And then if Morales holds it, you've got fucking Tijuana versus Brazil in a very big way. And in my opinion, what looks to be two of the best strikers in the sport as of right now. And most complete fighters all around. It's a solid one, man. Jumping into the comments real quick. Shinigami Itachi. Let's go, bro. Love that. I was like, where's my wallet? My wallet's not near me, but I have a Naruto wallet. I've also got the Naruto tat that's like hella fucking old now. Imagine Petr Yan pulling off the upset next month. I'm imagining it, but it still feels far-fetched.
Yeah, it feels like a dream.
He's fighting a machine.
Probably stay in my imaginary, unfortunately, just like my imaginary friend. Just not that likely to show up in reality, at least this reality. Maybe in a different universe, though. Different multiverse. But
hey, depending on the how juicy the odds are for the money line, I might sprinkle a little tiny bit on it. Who knows? We're up. With that being said, we'll move on into the lightweight division, going down to Beneil Dariush versus Benoit Denis. I was definitely wrong about this one. Okay, I thought Beneil Dariush was going to look a lot better than he did. He looked flat-footed from the very beginning of the fight. It only lasted a whopping 16 seconds. Both men landed 3 strikes. Both men landed 3 significant strikes. Both men threw 5 strikes. It was dead even on the stats, but man, you could tell the way in which they were landing. There was different intent in what Benoit Denis was throwing. You could tell that man came out there, A, a man on a mission, and B, a man that seemingly suddenly realized coming into this fight that he actually doesn't get paid by the hour. He gets paid by the job. And he was out there to make quick work of his opponent. Make no mistake about it. He disposed of him with extreme haste. And again, 16 seconds, round number 1, left hook. Larry makes a cameo in the fucking fight card. I mean, Beneil went down like a sack of potatoes. He went down so hard that when he got up, he asked the ref what happened.
Brutal look.
Man lost time. He probably doesn't remember the fight happening.
He was like, "Where are you?"
Brother, looking for time, trying to get it back, man. Like, that's a weird feeling. I've been clipped in sparring and felt like I've lost a couple seconds, but I can't imagine like losing minutes and getting knocked out like that. So, Nana, what were your thoughts on this fight? Do you think it's time for Benny to hang him up? And what do you think's next for BSD?
Yeah, man. I mean, it was quick work for Beneil, for Benoit Saint Denis, the god of war. He, freaking had his wrath, and all it took was one big one, right? I was leaning Beneil Dariush. I thought he would stand a better chance. I thought if the fight were going to get going, he could use the grappling. He could use some of that strength and the little salt and pepper kind of old man strength there, that onk status. But no, I mean, everything changed for me once I saw him miss weight. Unprofessional. And like we've talked about in the past, I mean, he sacrificed the purse. Shout out Benny St. Denis for still taking the fight, even though his opponent missed weight. And like we talked about in other shows with the boys, it's like that typically doesn't boast well for that fighter that's missing weight. Maybe it's an injury. Maybe it's just a lack of preparation. Either way, that's not being a pro. That ain't gonna cut it. And so I actually told my buddy, who's a big gambler, talking about my boy Paul. Shout out Paul. I told him, I was like, you want to parlay someone with Islam? I was like, your best bet is probably Denis. And I'm sure that cashed out along with some other bets that we'll talk about towards the end of the night. But yeah, I mean, that just felt like an obvious one. And I think seeing what Benoit did to Mauricio Hufi gave me enough confidence to say, even if it does get muddy, if it does go to the ground or get a little hairy, that he'll have an answer. And well, we didn't need any of that. It took one big one. I didn't know, like, thinking about it, I'd have to rewatch the replay, and unfortunately it's pay-per-view, I got to go back and do the whole thing. But it was kind of in the temple area, right above the ear, not necessarily back of the head, but I'm sure if you're a Beneil fan, you're saying that was back of the head. No, he got him in the safe.
No, it was right above the ear.
Yeah,
just rang his bell perfectly.
That's it. Rang the bell, man.
Soft spot.
He
rang his bell.
He rang his bell. He really rang. Gotta bring out the song at least.
Oh man,
yeah, no. Man.
So I mean, as far as what's next for Benny St. Denis, right? I think there's an interesting fight that's coming up. It's Arman Sarukian versus Dan Hooker. It's happening this weekend. We'll be talking about it tomorrow at Ignasium. I think you should fight the loser of that fight.
Not a bad shout. Good chance it's, well, I don't even know, man. I got to break this one down a little bit more. I think I'm leaning Dan Hooker, but him versus Arman will be a great fight. I just...
Heart says Dan, brain says Arman.
Exactly that. It's exactly that.
Wait, this is happening? Off topic, but how do you guys feel about Waldo Cortez Acosta's chances for stepping in for Spivak on Saturday?
When is that? Oh, is that this Saturday? I was going to say I did see that news, but I had no idea that was this upcoming card.
Oh, against Shamil O'Neal?
Yeah, Shamil versus fucking Salsa Boy.
Fucking Shamil Gaziev versus Salsa Boy. Ooh, we talking about slamming the two new toys together.
Oh, he's saving UFC Qatar, which is the first card in Qatar. So shout out, or is it Qatar? How do they say?
Qatar, yeah.
Qatar. Wow. That means just wow is my reaction, brother. Thank you.
You know how you know this fight card is in Qatar? There's not a single female fight on the whole card.
I mean, that's not by coincidence.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Hey, and the fact that he is coming back so quick after that poke in the eye.
It definitely feels like a bad night for Gaziev. But if there's anybody that can withstand Salsa Boy's comeuppance as of late, I think it is Shamil O'Neal.
I feel you, Shamil. Yeah, man. I mean, that is huge. Thanks for bringing that up. We'll obviously dive more into it mañana, but I'll tell you what, I do like Salsa Boy a lot, and the fact that he's jumping back in there. Most of the time, I may be a little hesitant, but these heavyweights, I mean, are they really cutting that much weight? Nah. And aside from the eye poke, he really didn't take that bad of a beating. So eye's healthy, he's healthy, in good shape. Clearly, 3 days notice. You know he got paid for it. Shout out Salsa Boy for willing to go out there and do the salsa, baby. Let's go.
And you ain't got to worry about Shamil poking your eye. Keeps his hands closed.
No chance. Yep, no chance. He's a pro.
Oh man, speaking of a pro that we have to break down. My God, man, we find ourselves talking about the middleweight division. Another one I was wrong about. Rodolfo Vieira coming in against Bo Nickal. I'm no longer calling him Bo Penny, folks. He earned that nickel this time around. I mean, he looked like a man on a mission. He stuffed 6 of 6 takedowns from Rodolfo Vieira, made it look easy to do so. Landed 2 out of 3 of his own, and again, made it look fairly easy to do so when he wanted it. That third one, I don't even know if I'd call it a takedown attempt so much as it was a feinted takedown to get his opponent thinking, right? He landed 94 of 143 attempted strikes, 77 of which were considered significant, and he ultimately gets it done via head kick knockout, step out head kick. I mean, it was textbook, bro. Like the way that he set up the head kick, the way that he landed it, he had been going to the body with that kick early on. And I literally looked over at my dad and I was like, he's setting up the head kick. He's literally waiting for his opponent to take a step back just outside of range of that fist. And right as I said it, you just fucking hear it connect like a baseball bat, bro. Louisville Slugger status. And the lights go out in MSG. Rodolfo Vieira took it on the head and went down very, very fast, very, very hard. Bo Nickal just continues to impress me, man. He's only 8-1 in his very young MMA career. I will say this stat every time we talk about him because I think it's worth mentioning. He is the second UFC fighter ever, or second fighter combatant ever to make it to the UFC and also have won the Hodge Trophy, with the first being Ben Askren. So it's a huge accolade in the wrestling world. And I mean, he didn't even really have to use his wrestling in this one. He just used it to keep his opponent thinking, keep his opponent guessing. So solid performance for Bo. He put my foot in my mouth, which was done just a couple times this card. Okay, I was right a lot more than I was wrong. That's okay. But I digress. Nana, what were your thoughts on this fight, man? Were you impressed by Bo Nickal?
Yes, and I mean, yeah. I'll just say, yeah. I don't want to discredit what he did. I mean, that knockout was absolutely fire. I really did not see that coming. I thought it was going to be a grindy, windy win for Bo Nickal. I felt like this was sort of the UFC giving him a layup in some ways, though I do have a lot of respect for Rodolfo Vieira. I just didn't think he'd have an answer in terms of getting Bo Nickal to the ground. And like we talked about with Islam, like the reality is, like, styles make fights, and Bo Nickal's style is an issue for a lot of people. Like, if you're fearful and you don't have an answer for the wrestling, he will expose you. And even just the mere threat, I mean, he is such a great athlete. His feints, like, everything he does is explosive and on time, and he's well executed when it comes to the technique, his game plan. Like, I did feel good that Bo Nickal's going to go out there and do his thing. But the fact that he got the head kick KO and earned performance of the night as a new dad, you know, you got to love it. And let me just say, the last 4 fights, including this one that we talked about, all had performance of the night bonuses. So Dana loved every single one of these. They're all nasty knockouts. And obviously we started the show with the top 2, main and co-main, a little bit of snoozer. So that was the only blemish, I think, on this card is, you know, we had such a good run that I was jumping around, like, getting fired up, and then, you know, a little bit of a lull fest there. 2 hours of just kind of laying down and seeing a complete landslide. But back to Bo Nickal, Bopa Show. Yeah, man, I didn't. You mentioned you seeing it. Way to have a good eye there. I was a little bit more of a layman, you know, drinking some bevies. We were hosting, so I had it on the backyard projector. But boy, was that fun to watch, and just you know, shout out the American kid, the American wrestler, going out there and taking care of business. I didn't know he had that in the bag, if I'm being real with you. So I think that shocked me, but not as much.
I didn't know it was going to land that clean. I just knew he was setting it up. I can't pretend that I knew it was going to look like that.
Fair enough. I'll give you that one, but I'll tell you what, man. I mean, yeah, Bo Nickal went out there. It was well-timed, well-executed. Maybe just because he was softening up his opponent throughout the fight as well, and that just was, you know, hey, right place at the right time. And like we've talked about before, it's the ones you don't know that are coming. You know, you get set up on something. It may not have even been the hardest kick in the world, but boy, it was well-timed, well-placed, and, well, good night to Rodolfo. In terms of what's next for Bo Nickal, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. I mean, there was another guy that fought on this same card that I think I would love to potentially see him get matched up with. A little bit more of a tougher, grittier opponent that is now ranked in the middleweight division. I'm talking about Robocop. Bo versus Robocop potentially makes a lot of sense. That may be the easy matchup to make. I don't know what else you're thinking, brother. I mean, is it Joe Bodybags Pfeiffer someone that tickles your fancy? Maybe the Ikram Maliskarov? Like, where do you see what do you see on the horizons for a Bo Nickal? What do you do with this guy? What's next, man? How are you feeling?
Yeah, man, honestly, for Bo Nickal, there is a couple names that make sense. As you said, there's a couple guys that fought on this card, right? Roman Kopylov and Gregory Robocop Rodrigues fought right before these two, and that was a fun fight. As far as which one makes sense for him, Robocop just broke into the rankings. I don't necessarily know if it makes sense for Bo to fight that far up. So I would rather see him fight Roman Kopylov. I think he fares very well against Roman Kopylov. As you said, it'd be a tougher matchup. I'm not sure if that's who you're thinking. Were you thinking Robocop?
I felt like that could make sense. I tend to gravitate towards people that fought on the same night. It just feels like maybe it's a little bit of recency bias. That might be a bit rich for the blood. Maybe another up-and-coming contender, someone that is ranked or excuse me, looking to get ranked sooner rather than later. Because yeah, to be honest, I mean, both that RDR loss still is like embedded in my brain. I guess according to Tapology, he did move up 13 spots to that 24th position. Other than that, I mean, the cool thing with this division, there's a lot of great names. I thought maybe even a Joe Bodybags Pfeiffer potentially. I mean, I don't want to see, you know, American on American, but those are two.
Joe Pfeiffer versus Bo Nickal is like when you choose the same character in a fighting game. They just kind of have different shorts, you know?
Yeah.
Slightly different haircut.
Yeah, just color shorts, yeah. I like what you did there. Yeah, I like what you did there. That is absolutely right. That's a fair point.
I'm not mad at the matchup, that being said.
No, I mean, maybe the Golden Boy, Emin Shabazian. I mean,
a fun
Robocop
one.
makes sense too. I mean, there's a lot. CLD, Christian Leroy Duncan coming off back-to-back TKOs. Like,
He's been a problem for a lot of people, man. It really is.
Is anyone sticking out to you over the other? Did you like Kopylov, you said, or?
I like Kopylov, but I'll be honest. I like the names you said. I like Joe Pfeiffer a lot, and I like the Golden Boy Edmund Shabazian. I think that'd be a really fun stylistic matchup for him. And I think somebody like Shabazian, who has a lot of pop in their strikes, could prove to give Bo trouble, especially because he likes to go to the body early and do a lot of body work. And we've seen Bo struggle from the body shots. Yeah, I think that's a fun matchup, man. With that being said, we'll stay in the same weight class and move on down the card to Roman Kopylov coming in against Gregory Robocop Rodrigues. And Nano, I'll let you take the lead on this one. What stood out to you most about Robocop's performance in this decision win?
Oh, man. I just feel like he did what we thought he was going to go out there and do. He did not necessarily win on the takedown differential. He threw up a submission, but honestly, it's the striking, it's the toughness, it's the pure grit that he goes out there and proves. And it did feel like he was building some momentum as the fight went on. We knew what Roman Kopylov wanted to go out there and do, try to get the takedown, landed the takedown the first round. Gregory Robocop tried to answer back, which feels like a lot of fighters tend to do that. Oh, you got one on me, let me go ahead and get one back. Wasn't able to do it, but did win on the strike-in differential with 20 strikes to Roman's 11. And then from there, he started to run away with it a little bit more. The eyeball test told me Robocop was building momentum, just like a true Robocop built out of metal, man. Just a freaking robot out there going to town and landing heavy strikes. And it felt like Roman kind of started to fade and just really didn't have an answer and just was not going to be able to get rid of the Robocop. You know, I liked what I saw. A gritty win against a tough game opponent. Maybe if Roman took more chances or was a little bit more aggressive, he could have, you know, stole the victory. But no, Robocop to me won handedly, and he's just an absolute stud. I think it's one of those things we talked about, the fear of the wrestling game. Sometimes the fear of the strikes. Sometimes when you know you get hit by this guy, all it takes is one shot to kind of make you reconsider and get a little more gun shy, if you will. So that to me is what stood out, just the sheer toughness and his ability to get better as the rounds went on, as most people start to fade. And I think that's what happened here with Roman. What about you, brother? Anything else stood out to you, man? Or and what do you think's next? We kind of already insinuated some names, but he is officially ranked now. So
He is.
The stage is yours, brother. How you feeling?
Yeah, man. I mean, the thing that stood out to me the most was the power, right? And it wasn't anything shocking. It went pretty much like you said, exactly as we predicted. And even down to the fact that we put a little money on it going to the distance between these two. You have two knockout artists. They're going to respect the power a little bit too much sometimes. And that's what we saw. Robocop landed, I think it was 2, maybe 3 check left hooks as Roman was coming in. And those earned his respect in spades, right? They made him fearful of coming in haphazardly. And I think ultimately that is what landed to the almost 2-to-1 differential in total strikes and significant strikes landed in favor of Gregory Robocop Rodrigues. Another thing that shocked me was Roman Kopylov's takedown defense as well as his takedowns as well, right? Like, he was fucking on it. 2 for 2 on his takedowns, 0 for 4 on his opponents coming in takedowns. The defense was there. The grappling was there. He just unfortunately was facing a bigger, stronger guy in Robocop. A machine, if you will. So let's see. Lazy Bed said, Nano drinking a Coors Original or a kombucha? I can't tell which. It's a Coors Banquet.
It's a banquet, baby. It's a banquet.
Shout out Johnny Lawrence, Cobra Kai, baby. Not a fan of a guy like Bo Nickal being allowed to switch between UFC and this new Real American Freestyle Wrestling, but someone like Poirier can't box because he's still under contract. Yeah, that's bogus, man. Absolutely bogus. But what should be next for Gregory Robocop Rodrigues? Man. Look, he just got finished with Roman Kopylov. Why don't we just pair him up against the other Roman Dolidze?
Ooh, that was actually the name I had in mind as well. Looking at the top 15, I think that one makes the most sense. Roman Dolidze hasn't fought in a while, and he's a game opponent, man. He's
coming off a loss.
Exactly, and that was a little while ago. We haven't seen him since then. I lost against Fluffy. He wants to go right that wrong, right? I mean, I think we should lace that up, maybe early 2026. But that's just my personal opinion. Sounds like we agree. I like that name a lot.
Yeah, I think if not him, you give him Jared Cannonier.
Ooh, did they fight?
They have fought before.
Okay. Doesn't say. That would be a fun one. I know he would want that one back. They did fight earlier in the year.
I think it was sometime. Yeah, it was actually the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
But it was a knockout for Gregory Rodrigues. That was a nasty fight, man. But again, like trajectory wise, they're both right there. Even an MVP makes sense.
Or Cannonier won, I think, right? Cannonier knocked out Robocop.
Sorry, yeah, Cannonier knocked out Gregory Rodrigues.
Yeah. He would want that one back. I mean, he would definitely say yeah to that. You know, if you're a competitor, you want to right your wrongs. And that would definitely make sense. But a Roman Dolidze, I mean, if we're being honest, I mean, a Paulo Costa sounds fun. A Marvin Vettori.
MVP, like, power versus speed.
Ooh. MVP is actually really interesting. I would personally love to see that one. I personally would love to see that one. I just don't know if MVP, I don't want to say he's a diva, but I don't see him going below his rankings. He's probably going to want someone in that top 10 as he is. So I'm not going to hold my breath on that, but boy, would I love to see it. Let's be real.
Absolutely, man. The next one was a women's flyweight bout. It went exactly as we thought it was going to go. It was a bout between Erin Blanchfield and Tracy Cortez. We were both riding high on Erin Blanchfield on this one. We both thought that she was going to come out here and sweep the victory and that she was probably live for a finish. Guess what, folks? All those things came to fruition. She's just a better fighter than Tracy Cortez. Tracy Cortez has gotten a lot of her opportunity due to the fact that she's a very pretty woman. Can't falter for it, you know. Get in where you fit in, as they say. But Erin Blanchfield is on a run right now, and she has very few blemishes on her professional career at 14-2. She hands Tracy Cortez her third professional loss, outlands her 65-50 on total strikes, 52-46 on significant strikes, and ultimately comes away with a submission by way of rear naked choke in the very second round, 4 minutes and 44 seconds in. The grappling was too much for Tracy. Erin was relentless with it too. 2 for 3 on her takedowns that she attempted and just racked up control time. Landed in top position, bloodied her opponent up a little bit, and ultimately wrapped her arm around her neck and got the tap. Nothing surprised me about this fight, if I'm being completely candid, bro. It went exactly as we thought it was going to go, and I'm happy to see it. I think Erin Blanchfield deserves it. She's a stronger, better, more well-rounded fighter, and she gets back in that win column, keeping it going.
Yeah, I agree with you all the way around. Was rooting for Tracy Cortez flying out of Arizona, and obviously, not easy on the eyes, if you will. But yeah, it went exactly as we thought. Like Tracy is game. Like she's a tough opponent, and did the best she could. Like I can't knock her for losing. We know what Erin goes out there and wants to do. She's going to find a way to submit you. She was really patient. I think, if anything, that was my big takeaway, is she didn't rush to get to her positions. She took her time like a pro does. You get your reads, you do your feints, and you're just collecting data, right? You're gathering information, and you're putting it in the mentals there and looking for that opening and being tactical with the approach. And that's exactly what she did. Like, the striking differential would tell you that maybe it was a little bit closer than it truly was. 65 strikes for Erin, 50 for Tracy Cortez, 2 takedowns to Tracy's 1. But it ended the way that we all thought it was going to end, whether it was in the first, second, third round. Erin Blanchfield, getting the choke, getting to her spots, and she's a beast. To be honest, if I'm being real, I think, and I love Natalia Silva, especially the fact that she beat Alexa Grasso, certainly deserving. She has the number 2 to her name. Erin Blanchfield sitting at 4, but on paper, or just, man, she might be a tougher matchup for Valentina, if we're being real. Do you agree with me in that sentiment, or do you think she has to fight another top contender like Manon or maybe an Alexa? What do you think's next for Erin, for her to finally get that recognition, get that title shot she so desperately wants?
Well, I mean, she already fought Manon, right? She fought her March 30th of 2024. Yep. She lost, unanimous decision. That's the only person that's actually been able to beat her inside of the UFC. Fun fact, before that, the only person that's been able to beat her pre-UFC, you might know her, a little lady named Tracy Cortez back in Invicta. So this was a rematch years in the making. Oh, wow. A lot of people did not realize that. But the difference is, like, the Tracy Cortez that fought her back in 2019 has not improved a ton. She's still the same exact Cortez. Meanwhile, this woman has gone on to beat Brogan Walker, who made it to the finale of Tough in her respected season. Sarah Simmons, Miranda Maverick, JJ Aldrich, Molly McCann, Jessica Andrade, Tyler Santos, Rose Namajunas, and Tracy Cortez again. So, I mean, all those leading up to Tracy, and her only blemish was Manon. You had to know she was going to go out here and win it. And I agree with Lazy Bet here. Blanchfield needs to lean on her friend and training partner, Fatima Kline, to tighten up her striking. That's my only critique. I agree, bro. Fatima looked savage out there. She looked crispy with the stand-up. And honestly, I think that's the only hole in Blanchfield's game, right? If she's able to tighten that up, I think she does damage. And I genuinely think that you're right, Nano. You definitely might be onto something in the fact that she could be a bigger problem for the champ than anybody else, including Natalia Silva, who we're obviously huge fans of. I think it's the grappling, right? Like, it's the grappling that sets it apart. If the champ doesn't have a quick turnaround, I wouldn't mind seeing that fight for a title contender fight. Blanchfield versus Silva.
Yeah, I think so. That does line up, honestly. I don't think Erin took a lot of damage.
I mean, yeah, her opponent landed 50 shots, but Tracy doesn't slam hard. You know what I mean?
No, and I can see Valentina want to take her time. She's more what feels to me like a once, twice a year type fighter. So she may take a little bit of a layoff, and Erin's probably itching to stay in there and really solidify herself as the obvious #1 contender. And that's the way you do it. That's the way you do it. I agree.
I think we don't see Shevchenko until at earliest the end of March and at latest the end of July. And realistically, Silva's got to want to fight around like January, February. And Blanchfield, like you said, didn't take any damage. So 2-3 months from now, turn her around quick, get her back in there and get her a #1 next to her name after that win, if she gets the win over Natalia, or vice versa. And then that person goes on to fight for the belt. Maybe on the White House card. Who knows? With that being said, we go on into the men's featherweight division for a bout that did not go correct. It did not go the way anybody thought it was going to go. It was Malcolm Wellmaker and Ethyn Ewing. And man, Ethyn Ewing knew what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? This guy came in here on 2 days' notice, and he had to show up in order to glow up. You know what I'm saying? Boy, did he. 99-82 on total strikes, 85-77 on significant strikes. Made his opponent go 0 for 3 on takedown attempts while landing 3 of his own takedowns out of 5 attempted. Everything this kid did looked nice, right? Like, he looked good. He looked smart. Great fight IQ. And he stepped up in a big way. He's now 9-2, improves to 9-2. He was 8-2 entering this, and hands Malcolm Wellmaker his first defeat in his professional career. I was wrong on it, so I got it poured up. Cheers to you guys. If you're drinking, drink with us. If not, that's okay. Just like, comment, subscribe, and smash that bell for notifications. You know the drill.
Salud.
Oh, yeah. So, no. I mean, this was a bloody back and forth. Malcolm was getting pieced up. Ewing was getting pieced up. But, I mean, one guy obviously had a little bit more wood, a little bit more heart. And he was the better man on this night. Do you think Ewing completely derailed the Malcolm Wellmaker hype train, or do you think it'll be an easy one to bounce back from?
Man, I'm somewhere in the middle there. Like, I do feel like it's tough to bounce back from that first loss. It's one of those things. I think it either makes you or breaks you. The reality of the situation. Shout out Farouk. Islam Smash Short guy here.
Islam Smash Short guy.
Because nobody's short in that division right now. So there's only one that I'm thinking of. And
this was a good one too. We should have known a Ewing would come up big in MSG.
Ooh, shout out Pat Ewing. Yeah, no, I'll tell you what, that's a good shout. Yeah, and I got to give credit where it's due. Ethyn Ewing, I did not know about your game. Obviously, it was short notice. I don't even think we had a chance to break it down. We didn't even, wasn't necessarily on our radar, but Vegas disrespected you, and not that I disrespect you directly, but I will never disrespect you. In fact, you earn my respect, sir. You're an absolute stud. You took the fight on a couple days' notice. You flew out from Orange County over to Madison Square Garden, and you put on a freaking show. You stunned the world, in my opinion. So you got a fan out of me. Derailed the hype train in Malcolm Wellmaker, the oil rig worker. He's a little bit older. He's 31. I think that's probably the only unfortunate thing, but he could bounce back. Like, he's still young enough, still has that energy, like, still has proven to be someone that moves the needle as far as PR is concerned. I like Malcolm. I'll certainly still root for him. But I think one thing that I heard going into this, and it did kind of make me reconsider, like, man, like, I don't know if that's the right approach. And it was, hey, Malcolm gets a call. It was maybe Thursday night. Hey, your opponent's out. We're trying to find you a new one. Come late Thursday, maybe early Friday, you find out who it is. And granted, we're talking a day, 2 days before the actual fight. I know you can't necessarily throw out your game plan or the specific drills or combos or things you've been working on. However, I think you kind of have to consider it. I think, like, at the end of the day, like, as someone that has competed and played other sports, football, baseball, basketball, like, the reality is, like, you gotta get the game tape. You gotta watch the film. Like, yeah, you could just go out there and do what you're best at, but they had a full camp preparing for someone else, and the coaches told Malcolm, hey, don't change anything, have that same game plan. But it's like, my logic here is and fuck, I hate to bring up the goddamn Raiders because they make me want to poke my eyes out every time I'm watching them play. But it's a perfect example. You're facing the Dallas Cowboys, and they have the worst run defense in the NFL, statistically speaking. Why are you not going to run the ball when you have a great freaking running back and you have a quarterback that's leading the league in interceptions? Like, why are you not going to change your game plan? Or why do you change it to something that just isn't going to work? So I just felt like that was bad coaching. Maybe you disagree, maybe you agree in some ways, but I just think if I'm Malcolm and I'm getting a new fighter, I'm watching any and all LFA tapes. I'm trying to find my reads. I'm trying to find little ticks, body movements. What does he do? What does he not do? Until game time. And hey, maybe I'm changing my 1-3-1s to 2-2-4s, like whatever it is. Like, you could change combos. That's being a pro. You could do everything. And maybe doing a little bit more of that game study and little changes to your overall game plan. Again, I know you had full camp. I get that, but you can't just take what you're going to do to one style of opponent and think it's going to work on another. So that's just my one takeaway. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, but shout out Ethyn Ewing for going out there, putting on a show, and really leading the dance. Like, everything Malcolm was trying to do, he did a little bit better. He's a game opponent. He's an absolute stud, and like he said, he deserves to be here, and that's one way to stamp your ticket and make a name for yourself. But what do you think about my comments there around the game plan? Did you catch that on some of the embedded?
I've been waiting for this. Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
How do you feel, brother? Am I being a little bit too harsh on our boy Malcolm? What do you think?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all, man. You got to watch tape. You got to know your opponent. And I mean, if you're not looking at tape up until the moment you go out there and you fight that guy, what are you making your reads based upon? Because everybody's very different, right? Like, everybody's like twitch to go into guard or before throwing a certain strike is very different. You watch John Jones tape, you watch Rashad Evans tape, you watch Chuck Liddell tape, like, they're all going to have very different leads, let alone, God forbid, you watch some Carlos Condit tape. That guy mixes it up unlike anybody else. So, like, how do you know how to make the reads unless you're watching these guys? And Ethyn Ewing is a different animal, right? He's built different, fights a little bit different. And he does have a guard that's penetratable, right? Like he's one of these guys with like a typical high guard. You can work those uppercuts in there or those straight shots and move out of the way, slide out of range. You can cut angles, post into that guard, and then land solid leg kicks. There were a lot of things that Malcolm could have done differently that would have equated a different outcome for this fight. He just simply didn't do it. But it's not 100% on him, right? It's on his coaches. It's on the people around him. You can't surround yourself by a bunch of yes men that are like, you can go out here and knock this guy out. He's coming in on 2 days' notice. And, the post on Instagram, like, I don't know anything about this guy. I know just as much as you guys. That's a fucking problem, bro. Like, if you know just as much about him as we do and we know jack fuck, why are you on Instagram?
Yeah. And why are you not learning about this?
Why are you not asking all your boys or posting on Instagram? If you want to post on Instagram and say, hey, I just got a new opponent. This is his name. I know nothing on him. Send me tape study or your UFC Fight Pass login so I can watch some tape. Like, that's a good post.
That's the way to approach it. Yep, that's the way to approach it. I agree 100%.
I would have gladly sent this fighter my fucking login for UFC Fight Pass and done tape study for him and do it for my friends that fight. Like, but don't go in there and say, I know just as much about this guy as you do. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to knock him out. No, you're not. You can't just go out there and knock everybody out. Like, what reads? Has he ever been knocked out? Do you even know? Come on,
where's
brother.
The opening going to be? How are you going to set it up? It's a game of chess out here, or it's a game of chess out here, my brother, not checkers.
You're playing checkers. Yeah, dude. Farouk said love from India, bro. Dude, love from Arizona and San Diego, my guy. We appreciate having you here.
Hey,
kick him in the head. Let's go. Let's go. The boys. Islam is the GOAT of this era. That's a fact, bro. That's a fact.
Most eras of any era, let's be real. I mean, you drop him into anyone. He's smashed, and forget the 2-3 years. Forget you need 2-3 decades and forget. Come on,
dude. 1 or 2 title defenses, and it's not even a Mount Rushmore conversation. He is the GOAT of MMA.
Yeah,
like I don't think it's not even an argument anymore. It's just a fact at that point. So speaking of facts, we got to play matchmaker for this young man in the featherweight division. Ethyn Ewing coming in here and just, as you said, making a name for himself. So with that being said, do you have any names on the tip of your tongue?
It's one of those things. It's there's so many names, so many different directions you can go. But hearing him talk about it post-fight, he was somewhere, I don't know, looked like it could have been a bar or maybe the hotel lobby, wherever he's celebrating. And someone mentioned that he should fight the other Topuria brother, Alexander. And he mentioned that he was really close to fighting him. He when they're in LFA, their paths crossed. They needed a quick replacement, and he was trying to get his passport, make the trip out to Australia. Was not able to do it. Did not come to fruition. But he was very close to fighting Alexander Topuria. I know he's fighting this weekend, I believe. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So depending on how that goes, I actually do think that fight would be pretty freaking cool. The fact that they already were going to fight. They both are notable names, especially if Alexander wins or not, frankly. But I thought that was a great shout, and I can't think of a better name on the roster right now with more name value. And that's a fight you could put on a fight night potential main card, but certainly one I would be tuned in on. So I'm going to take the easy way out and say someone that he was already close to fighting and kind of already has a game plan for. But what do you think, brother? Is there anyone else in the stack division that tickles the fancy when it comes to what's next for Mr. Ethyn Ewing?
Yeah, man, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at you taking the quote unquote easy way out, right? I think it's definitely an easy call out, especially considering we had multiple rumors, right, generating in the Twitter mill and such of Malcolm Wellmaker originally being slated to fight Alexander Topuria, who, you are correct, is slated to fight this weekend against Beksat Almakan. Should be a banger in the bantamweight division. But again, like, I don't know, man. I just feel like first things first. This was short notice. I believe this guy usually fights a weight class down at bantamweight, not featherweight, which is why it would make sense for him to fight if he stays at featherweight, though, I think there's a couple names that make sense for him in the UFC. And he looked really good at featherweight. So maybe this is a new thing for him. I'd like to see him fight Yiza. I don't know if you know who that is. The guy fighting out of Shanghai, China. Most recently came out there and got the win over Weston Wilson. Before that, he lost to Gabriel Santos in his UFC debut. And then other than that, Austin Bashi. The Bashi boy.
Ooh,
I think that's a fun one.
That's a great one. Yeah, I like that a lot too.
But if we're talking, I mean, yeah, I think he's going to be featherweight, bro.
Right.
Maybe Alexander's the one that bounces around. Let's see Shabam here. I don't understand this Ian Gary in the title picture when there's a guy like Shavkat who's clearly skill by skill better than him. Carlos Prates ain't elite, but Belal win won't let him skip Shavkat. Shabam, A, thanks for the comment. Happy to see you here, my guy. B, the only reason Ian Gary is there is because of his mouthpiece and because situation. Shavkat's clearly ahead of him in skill, and he was ahead of him in ranking, or still is ahead of him in ranking, actually. Ian's the only one that didn't move, right? But he's been out on injury. So it's tough. He's got a long layoff. You can't really reward that. And Ian Gary's staying active, and he's fighting against Belal. So I think if he goes out there and smashes Belal, he talks his way into a title shot. But I don't think he deserves it on meritocracy alone.
Yeah, appreciate the comment, Shabham. I would agree with my co-host's comments here. What I would say, if he does beat a Belal, who was an ex-champion, that certainly merits something. The mouthpiece and wins over everyone else here in the division outside of a Shavkat, which that's the unfortunate part, is just he's not healthy, and I think he's still not healthy, though he's active on the social medias and calling for his name, saying he's the best. I mean, we got to see it. It's what have you done for me lately? And you haven't fought this entire year. If I knew Shavkat was healthy now and he could get into a training camp or would be ready by early 2026, personally, would not be mad at that. Shavkat versus Islam makes a ton of sense. Undefeated, stud. But man, I think after seeing two top contenders get knocked out, and how do you not reward them? I mean, what do you think? Do we do some sort of, we talked about in the lightweight division in the past, where you do some sort of tournament style, like put everyone together and see who comes out victorious? There's so much great things. I think it's a great problem to have, but to the point, Ian Gary, if he goes out there and beats the next champion, that's a big one. He beat Carlos Prates, so MMA math would kind of already give Ian the nod over Carlos, in my opinion. Again, assuming he beats Belal in dominant fashion. So then it leaves it to Ian, Michael, or Shavkat. Who's healthy? Who's going to be ready for when Islam wants to go? And he's probably ready to go freaking tomorrow, to be honest with you. So timing makes everything, but on the short list, and appreciate the comment.
And I did look it up while you were giving your breakdown on that point. Ewing does usually fight at 135. So if that's the case, I've got a different subset of names that I pulled. I think 3 names make a lot of sense. It just depends on kind of how far up the ladder you want to go. If we're lower on the ladder, I say Garrett Armfield. He's coming off 2 back-to-back losses. He needs a fight. He's looking for a fight. Chris El Guapo Gutierrez, I think, is another really good shout. 22 is 6-2. Dude's an absolute beast. He can knock you out. He can sub you. Coming off a loss to Farid Basharat. And then the other 2 names are Brady Bam Bam High Stand. Tough winner. Dude's an absolute beast. We haven't seen him in there in quite some time, right? His most recent win was over Garrett Armfield, the other name I mentioned, June 15th of 2024. So it's been about a year and a half since we've seen him compete. He was supposed to have another fight in October against Jake Hadley. Had to pull out of that fight due to injury. So looking to see him come back. And then, of course, the other name that comes to mind, Nano, if we really want to pole vault this guy, is Farid Basharat.
Great name.
Dude's on an absolute tear right now. Great name. He's ferocious, as his nickname suggests. And he's an absolute submission phenom. Most recent submission win over Clayton Rodriguez, followed by 3 back-to-back unanimous decision wins over Chris Gutierrez, Victor Hugo, and Taylor Lapalus. He also has a unanimous decision win over Damon Blackshear. So, dude's a bit of a stud. What do you think of those names, Nano?
I love them. I think that the Basharat shout is definitely a great one. I think you can't go wrong with any of them. But if I'm being real, Lazy Bet, shout out. What a name.
Lazy Bet with the fucking fire in the chamber, bro.
From the top rope, my boy. I actually like that a lot too, man. I mean, I think Ewing definitely deserves a notable name. Reason being, he beat a Malcolm Wellmaker, who we all know was gonna get that notable name next. So you got to give him the hype. He stole the hype train. Chugga chugga choo choo. What it do, Adrian Yanez? I'd love to see it, man. I mean, I do think Ethyn Ewing is legit, and any of those names tickle my fancy, if I'm being real with you. I was gonna say Felipe Jungle Boy Lima, someone in that range. Javid is a little bit above him, so like Snow Leopard versus Ethyn MSG Ewing. If it makes odds, it makes sense, man. But I do think he's that good to get a notable name and continue to rise in the rankings here. Well said. Can't go wrong either way. He needs to get back in there ASAP, and I'm now a fan of Double E. Let's go.
And with that, we move on into the early prelims. We just have a handful of fights to get through. We'll keep it short and sweet for these next few. The first one we're going to talk about is in the middleweight division between Kyle Daukaus, Killer Kyle, coming in against GM3, Gerald Mearshart. I'm a big fan of threes. I'm the third myself. But man, I knew that this was going to be a bad night for GM3. Kyle Daukaus is a man on a mission since making his way back into the UFC, and this was nothing different. 8 strikes landed, 8 of which were considered significant. That's 100% for those of you that are bad at math. He only attempted 11 strikes. His opponent only got off 2, and 0 of which landed. 72.7% accuracy for Kyle Daukaus before setting up ultimately the Darce choke and just welcoming his opponent to the Darce side. I think when you go out there and you beat somebody like GM3, if you get a knockout, that's one thing. But to submit the submission guy, who's a wily threat in the grappling realm, a lot of people thought that that was probably his only path to victory. And by he, I mean GM3, not Kyle Daukaus. So great win, noteworthy win, and intrigued to hear what you thought of it, man. Did you learn anything from this? What stood out for you most?
It was short and sweet. I was not too familiar with Kyle Daukaus and the Darce Knight. I think the name obviously indicated what we knew was going to happen. I thought it was going to be a closer match when it comes to the jiu-jitsu and the submission. We got GM3, who we both love. I mean, notable guy. We've been talking about him for years. He's become a staple in the division, but unfortunately, a little bit of the gatekeeper now, right? And I think unless Kyle just has nuclear power, which I don't really think that's the case, just my takeaway was GM3, just let it be, brother. I think it's time to hang him up, man. You have the most submissions in UFC history, a lot of fights, a lot of losses. That record is certainly not great. I sound like a lot of losses. Felt like a little Trump there. But, yeah, man. A
lot of fights, a lot of losses. Some would say the best losses of all time.
Some really bad losses, but some good wins. Yeah, man. I mean, Daukaus went out there, took care of business. It was short and sweet. I think GM3 needs to hang him up, but I do want to reward Daukaus for going out and getting the Darce Knight. I mean, phenomenal name. I don't think he's necessarily ready for a top 15er. That's usually my barrier of entry is, hey, does he deserve a ranked opponent? Answer is no. But somebody right outside of that, maybe an Abbas Magomedov, he has a 4-3 record. That Mr. Darce Knight is 4-4 with the no contest in there. I think that can make sense. Or if you want to throw him in against another, jiu-jitsu specialist, you could throw him Hidalgo. I don't necessarily love that. That feels like the cheap way out again. He lost to Bo Nickal. Don't think he should lose a ton of momentum for that loss, but those are some names that are kind of sitting on the top of my head. And because he's so highly ranked and because my boy just went out there and took care of business, maybe even my boy Zach Savage Reese, if going a little bit lower on the rankings, but is a fun stylistic matchup to see who could come out victorious. So a few names top of mind, but what do you think, brother, and who's you think is next for the Darce Knight?
I'd like to see him fight a Bo Nickal or a CLD, Christian Leroy Duncan. And I think the winner of either one of those fights gets a number next to their name.
Ooh-wee.
The Bo Nickal one's the one I really like.
That makes
Bo
sense.
Nickal versus Kyle Daukaus is a fucking banger, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle's fought against a Roman Kopylov, didn't get the victory, but he's someone that has been in there. I think he is highly regarded. Again, I wasn't familiar with his game, so I got to put more respect on Mr. Daukaus, the Darce Knight. Dude, that might be my favorite name. I'll be real with you.
The Darce Knight is nasty, bro. It's nasty work.
So sick, dude. I mean, 12 submission wins. He beat a Michel Piera. Lost to an Eric Anders twice, actually, now that I'm looking at it, on a couple fight nights. Fury Pro grappling, which I guess now I'm thinking about it, I don't even know if that's applicable. But lost to Roman Kopylov back in 2022. So obviously the UFC sees something in this kid where he is in that kind of on the cusp, right, of a potential top 15er, and so is Bo Nickal. So process elimination, I think any of those would make sense. Lazy bed, yeah. See, I think that's where I'll draw the line, 100%. We kind of
Daukaus was on How Wide Today talking about wanting Whitaker. He needs to slow his roll. I agree with that. If he wins over one of the names I said, like if he goes down there and blasts through a Bo Nickal, give him Whitaker. Let Whitaker shut him up, you know. But until then, no. I mean, he needs at least one more before he starts saying names like that.
Yeah, perfect example of shoot for the stars and land on the moon, right?
yeah, I think so. With that being said, we move on into the featherweight division for a bout between Pat Sabatini and Chepe Mariscal. Look, man, I like Chepe. I thought Chepe was going to go out here and get it done. He's a strong guy. He's a good guy. Very dangerous threat on the feet. And I thought that Pat Sabatini was going to have a very, very tough time getting him to the ground and an even tougher time keeping him there. Folks, I'm not too proud to admit when I was wrong, and this is a case of me being wrong. It turns out Pat can get him down, and Pat can keep him down. He did that 7 times, and he kept him down for 10 minutes and 37 seconds of a 15-minute fight. For those of you that are bad at math, that is a very high percentage. It's like 70% of the fucking match. So, dude went out there and did his thing. He took away any power or prowess that his opponent brought to the octagon and Chepe Mariscal. When you have a big, strong guy like that, you know can take off your head. If you take him down, you sap those muscles. You take him down, you take away that power. You take him down, you take away that threat. Terry Silver, Karate Kid 3. If a man can't stand, a man can't fight. He made sure that man wasn't standing for almost 11 fucking minutes of a 15-minute fight. So not a lot of fighting was able to be done by Chepe Mariscal, the machine gun. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think he trained with Merab Dvalishvili for this fight too. It did not show. Did not show at all, man. The issue is his opponent attempted 12 takedowns. So he was relentless with the pressure forward and just constantly wrapping himself around his opponent. Again, sapping the energy in which he brought to the octagon, sapping the threat in which he brought to the octagon, and it showed. Great performance for Pat Sabatini. I'll pour up my shot here while Nano does his breakdown.
Absolutely, and I'll take a sip of my banquet here as I am bottleless here in the room. But I'll tell you what, man. Yeah, this, like I said, styles make fights, and I do have a lot of respect for Chepe Mariscal. I like him when it comes to his style, his grit. But, man, and just looking at Pat Sabatini, he feels like the featherweight Matheus Camilo, partially for the same high fade that he has there. But he is what he does, and that is wrestling and relentless at it. Cheers to that, to you wrestlers out there being the knockout artists. It is what it is, right? I mean, hey, can't win them all. Though we did have a hot night on the betting side of things. But yeah, I mean, 12 takedowns. This guy's, again, a Gamrot and Merab, if, they fused up, and, Dragon Ball Z reference there. But, short of outside of a nasty head kick at the end of I think it was maybe it was the second round for Chepe. Other than that, he just really didn't get a lot of moments. Obviously, he might need to take Islam on his offer to go to Dagestan 2-3 years and forget. Because that's really the only missing piece of his puzzle, man. I think Chepe has all the makings to be someone, a legitimate.
Dagestan and forget.
Well timed, sir. He has all the makings to be a contender, but this is one of those where it's humbling. You got to develop that piece of you got to develop that part of your game. Pat Sabatini, absolute stud. Got to give credit where it's due. So we'll happily drink our bevies and tip the cap to someone that goes out there and gets a dominant win over a tough opponent. In terms of what's next, I mean, man, seeing that kind of style, you throw him in there against anyone, and it sounds like it's going to be a bad night for that individual. Like, not a lot of people have answers for that kind of skill set, for that kind of fight, especially in this division. But There is someone I am actually a big fan of, and I'm looking here now. I think Melchizael, the Dalmatian Ghosta, actually has the skill set, has the pedigree. Is Pat ranked now? Actually, let me pull this up. How do you feel? I mean, I like your reaction. Do you think that's a good shout, or what do you think?
Pat's number 15 on Tapology, and Melky does have a scheduled bout in 3 weeks against Morgan Chartier, the last Pirate.
Okay.
So maybe the winner of that one can get Pat Sabatini, since he's a handful of rankings above. I was actually thinking a little bit Richard Blood. I was thinking Josh Emmett, Brian Ortega, or Jean Lord Silva.
Wow.
He's 15 now. I mean, give him somebody higher. He just had that big win. And honestly, like, Chepe's not a slouch, bro. If he can get through Chepe in the way in which he did, like, give him a real test and see how he actually holds himself up there with these truly ranked guys, you know?
Yeah, I feel that. I don't disagree, my brother. I do like where your head's at. Man. Honestly, a name that's sticking out to me here on the top 15. I know according to Tapology, he's up there, but not seeing him. He's a featherweight, right? So he's not.
He is. Yeah, he's not officially ranked on the UFC site. Number 15 on there is Giga.
There is someone that's coming off a loss against a Steve Garcia, and I'm talking about a David Onoma. That's a good stylistic matchup right there, bro.
I'm not mad at that one. I think that's a fun matchup, bro.
That's a banger. I think that might be my choice.
That's a fun one.
In the comments. Come on, let us know.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that one at all. Speaking of one I'm not mad at, I love Angela Hill. I truly do. She is a potential future Hall of Famer for the amount of fights she has. She has the most octagon time of any female fighter in UFC history. And man, she's officially a 500 fighter, bro. 18-16. And Fatima Kline gave her 16th loss on Saturday. Made it look fairly easy. 152-65 on total strikes, 115-56 on significant strikes, 2-1 differential on significant strikes, damn near a 3-1 differential when it comes to total strikes. And she also landed 4 takedowns to the 0 of the opposition in Angela Hill. She did everything right. Angela tried. She did the right things, but she was just a step behind and just a little bit slower and weaker than the opposition in Fatima Kline. Kline looked really fucking good out there. I think she is a problem for a lot of people in this women's strawweight division. Nano, what stood out to you most about the performance of Fatima Kline?
Yeah, it felt like the speed and the technicality in terms of her striking and the IQ all really stood out. I felt like I was, rooting for an Angela Hill, but after seeing the embedded and seeing who her life partner is, I'm not talking sparring here, I'm talking about life partner in Erin Blanchfield. I mean, one of the favorite things we like to say around here is iron sharpens iron. So she literally has one of the baddest women on the planet to help her with her skill set. They have their nutritionist. They're flying her out. Like, they're really taking that next evolution in their games individually and collectively. So the performance obviously speaks for itself as well, right? She has 4 fights in the UFC now, 2 TKOs, a dominant decision win over an Angela Hill, who, like you mentioned, on paper is a 50-50 fighter, but she's an OG, triple OG. Maybe a little bit of a GM3 feel here where it's like, hey, Angela, maybe it's time to hang him up. Right, maybe join our girl Michelle Watterson-Gomez in the booth and stay involved. Like, love to see her get back to the sport, and she's a legend. So I don't think it's bad to say, but I think that's probably maybe what's next for an Angela Hill, and that's okay. Like, Father Time is undefeated, but Fatima, I mean, man, the Archangel Kline, love what I saw. And I think she positioned herself really well, right? I mean, Angela was a perennial ranked opponent. When I'm looking at the landscape, I don't think you necessarily throw her into the lion's den, into that top 10, but there's a few names right around where she's ranked. And I like the idea of pairing her up with someone that is also coming off a win. Look no further. I mean, both 3-1 in the UFC. Look no further than the Mizuki Inoue. I like me some Mizuki. I think she's an absolute beast. She proved that she belongs here, especially after that dominant win over Jacqueline Amorim. Fatima versus Mizuki. That to me makes a lot of sense. She's ranked above Angela. both of them can make a case for finally getting a crack at that top 15er if and when one of them do win, assuming they get matched up. But oh wait, no, I'm tripping. Fatima's 12th now. Oh man, well, I feel a little silly. I still don't think. I just personally don't know if I'm throwing her in there, like I mentioned. So I stand behind my words, even though she's not ranked 12th. But I do think Mizuki deserves that nod to get the opportunity to ride a ranked opponent. How do you feel, brother? Let me go ahead and drink some banquet here because I sound a little silly. But what's next for Fatima?
Yeah, man. I think there's two options that make a lot of sense, and it really depends kind of where you want to go with her. If you want to build her up against other people that are in her realm of kind of talent pool, you give her somebody like a Lupita Godinez or a Denis Gomes. I think both of those fights are absolute bangers. They're also really great tests for her, and neither of those ladies have a dance partner as of right now. If you want to continue the Legends Tour, right, have her beat all the people that are kind of losing to Father Time before they're losing to her, then you feed her another one of those gals. You give her a Tisha Pennington, the Tiny Tornado, formerly known as Tisha Torres. I just think, again, those are the fights that make sense. If you're going to give her somebody young, give her somebody young and up and coming that makes a lot of sense, like a Denise Gomes or a Lupi Godinez. Or you just keep letting her kill the legends, man. Keep letting her build a name for herself. And with that, we move into the middleweight division for a bout between Baisangur Susakayev and Eric McConico. Baisangur was the biggest favorite on the card, but Eric McConico did not get the fucking memo, right? They landed the same exact number of significant strikes, 105 to 90 on total strikes, so a 15 strike differential there. More accurate guy was Baisangur Susakayev. He landed 73.4% of his strikes at accuracy compared to the 60% accuracy clip of Eric McConico. And he also landed 2 takedowns out of 7 compared to the 0 of Eric McConico. Nano, what stood out to you on this fight, if anything? Do you think the line messed up here?
Yeah, I think the line was certainly a bit wonkers. I mean, it felt good maybe on paper. I guess a little bit of recency bias seeing what Baisangur did to his last opponent. And I wasn't really too familiar with Eric McConico. And seeing those kind of odds just wanted me to stay away from it. But if I'm being real, I'd be curious to see what the live odds looked like after that second round, because I thought Eric was winning. I'll just stop real quick. Did you feel? I mean, I thought he was piecing him up. I thought he was winning.
He won the first round, I thought.
I thought 100% he won the first round.
Yeah.
And really, I thought he was winning the fight until, well, Baisangur said, all right, I'm going to go ahead and Falcon punch you into the next dimension here and make up for what was a minus 1,000, I repeat, betting favorite. Maybe he was playing with his food a little bit. Maybe I'm just not fully buying the hype train. I thought Eric was winning.
I mean, McConico outlanded him in the second round on significant and total strikes. And in the first round, it was very close. Like he got outlanded on total strikes, but he outlanded Baisangur on significant strikes. So if that would have been a split decision or even a decision win for McConico, I wouldn't have been surprised.
Would not have been surprised. Yeah, I felt like that third round was going to be the round to really settle it. You can make a case for Baisangur maybe winning that first round, but Eric did stuff 3 out of the 5 takedowns. Baisangur did score 2, but I just felt like on the feed he had all the answers for him. And again, we're
up until, like you said, up until he got blasted.
Up until he got blasted. I mean, Baisangur did step off the center line, very slick move there, and full extension on the overhand right, or I guess more of a jab. I mean, it was nasty. I mean, that was a great moment for Baisangur. But again, if I'm being real, man, I felt like he was losing or was not living up to that minus 1,000 line that was on his name. With that being said, he called out a Bo Nickal. No chance. You're not throwing him that
no chance in hell.
There. No.
I didn't think it was an impressive performance, to be completely honest. I mean, outside of the finish in round 3, I don't care to play matchmaker for this guy.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I mean, just throw him in there with someone else, anyone else.
Unranked.
But I don't, the odds are crazy, and I lost. He lost me on that one, if I'm being real with you.
We'll be avoiding this guy betting moving forward, I think. I mean, we didn't bet on him this time either, but he's on the no bet list as of right now. With that being said, we move into the last fight of the night. It's in the lightweight division. It was between Vyacheslav Borshev, a.k.a. Slava Claus, coming in against Matheus Camilo. I like Vyacheslav. I thought he was going to be able to actually negate the takedowns in this one and land some shots of his own. I also thought that the Team Alpha Male Guillotine would be handy for him if Matheus spammed the takedowns. I was wrong on both counts. He did spam the takedowns. He did get Vyacheslav down, and he did hold him there, right? He looked really good doing it. Attempted 10 takedowns, landed 5, racked up 3 minutes and 22 seconds of control time across the duration of the fight, most of which coming in round number 2, which was his most dominant round. It's crazy, though, because he got 2.5 minutes of that control time almost in round 2 and still got outlanded by Vyacheslav Borshev. Borshev actually outlanded him in 2 rounds. So he outlanded him in round 2, 19-10 on significant strikes, 26-14 on total strikes, and 41-17 in round 3, and 37-17 in significant strikes in round 3. I'll be honest, watching the fight live, I thought Borshev did enough to win, but again, I could be wrong here. Am I crazy? Did Borshev get outclassed or what?
No, it was razor thin. I mean, first fight of the night, I was actually driving home. We were cooking dinner for the in-laws and my compas. Shout out Adrian earlier in the chat. We appreciate you. Had the kiddos and everything. So like I was watching it, but I was not able to put my judge's hat on. So on at least the eyeball test, I did feel like it was pretty close. I felt like Matheus might have edged out that first round. I mean, he got more of the takedowns. He got 2 out of 3, 1 on the strike and differential. But that second round, though, Matheus was getting the takedowns. I did think Slaviklaus was building some momentum. It's not just about the takedown, which is a little bit arbitrary. We could probably have a whole episode on the different rule changes and, what's a takedown, what's not, what's a submission, what's a reversal. Like we talked about, I don't think there's consensus on a lot of these things, but I did feel like Slaviklaus was building some momentum. And then that third round, he absolutely poured it on him. Did get taken down, but he stuffed 2 of the takedowns. Got taken down once, but I mean, that's got to count for something, right? So again, I could see how you came to that and maybe trying to take the bias out of it. Slaviklaus, hell of a name, and certainly has the rooting interest. But yeah, I guess like if you're putting the entire picture together, I suppose Matheus won. But if I'm being real, I think I'm on your side in the sense that I felt like Slaviklaus might have did enough. So that's where you hate the judges, and sometimes it's even more obvious, and they don't get the decision. So don't leave it in their hands. Try to go for the knockout or finish, if you will. But yeah, I guess the takedowns is what was the differentiator here, and maybe if Slaviklaus could have attempted some or some more reversals or just more dominant position, it might have looked better to those judges in their scorecards. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's not what happened. I guess you could say Slaviklaus is getting some coal in his stocking this Christmas because I didn't get the W.
Absolutely.
It was a fun one. Back and forth, razor thin. The fact that I think they made it harder than judges is all you could ask. I'm just glad I'm not one of those. It was a good
fight. It was a close fight.
Yep, it was a fun one. Good way to start the card, and good way to end the episode, baby. Let's go.
Absolutely, man. And with that being said, folks, the names that I have on the tip of my tongue for Matheus Camilo are Thomas Big Train Nolan fighting out of Australia and Mason the Dragon Jones fighting out of Wales. Both guys are on absolute tears right now. At least 5-fight win streak for both guys here. 4-fight win streak for both guys here. Last loss for Tom Nolan coming by way of Nicholas Mota, round 1 knockout 2024. Last loss for Mason Jones coming by way of Ludovic Klein back in 2022. So I think both those are solid names. What do you think, Nato?
I do like both of those names. Like you said, I mean, both of these guys have a lot of momentum right now. Mr. Jaguar Matheus Camilo is 1-1 in the UFC thus far. So I think there's still a lot to be told. Like I don't know if we fully know what kind of fighter he is, in that sense. So I wouldn't go much higher than those names you mentioned. I mean, it's hard for me to even pick another name, honestly. Like I think I would just lean into one of the ones you mentioned there. Maybe a Jamie Malarkey. I mean, someone that's a little bit more.
Maybe another fun one.
Coming off a win. Yeah, I mean, not ranked too much higher, but 2 guys that are game. I think he has some answers for the grappling. But other than that, it's like I need to see a little bit more. It wasn't a decisive enough win for me to really want to, bump him up there and give him a bigger notable name. So I like the range we're in here.
Yeah, again, like I just think that those fights make the most sense. And then as far as betting for this weekend and kind of what took place there, you were with us last week. You saw the bets we put in. The ones that hit were a 2-pick parlay for Islam Makhachev and Valentina Shevchenko. 1 unit turned into a little bit over 2. Fight to go the distance for Roman Kopylov and Gregory Rodrigues. A half unit turned into almost 1.5. And then a 2-pick parlay for Carlos Prates and Michael Morales that my guy here locked in after the show. A half unit turned into almost 2 whole units. And then, of course, we had our parlays, right? We had, let's see here, the 3-pick parlay at plus 3,125. Or no, that was our cycle parlay. Let me go farther up here. Had a couple parlays on fights to go the distance. Again, we smacked on those parlays, and we ended up being up 5.592 units on 3.5 units out on the week. So again, folks, hope all of you cashed your tickets. If you did, let us know in the comments below as soon as we wrap up. And if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications, folks. We appreciate you for being here. And if you do nothing we've asked you to do, keep on going. And keep on growing, folks. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.